I'm still not quite sure whether or not I should be surprised that this movie went unseen. I mean, it's a very dark and brutal film to watch, but that's what makes the film work so well. The film focuses on a few individuals navigating their way through the Bosnian War, a conflict which took place in the Balkan regions during the 1990s. Anyone with an inkling of knowledge about that war will know that it was the site of unspeakable violence, ethnic cleansing, racism, and xenophobia on all sides, and the after effects are still being felt to this day. From what I've read and from what I've heard from people with better knowledge of this history than me, Savior is one of the most honest portrayals of this conflict. Of course, it should be noted that the main character is not a Serb, a Croatian, or a Bosnian, but an American. Dennis Quaid plays Joshua, a government official working at the embassy in Paris. Early on in the film, his wife and young son are killed in a bombing that is believed to be the work of Islamic terrorists. In his grief and rage, Joshua goes into a random mosque and shoots down the worshippers just for being Muslim. To escape persecution, he and his friend Peter join the French Foreign Legion. The rest of the movie follows Joshua as he works as a mercenary soldier in Bosnia, fighting for the Bosnian Serbs. He sees atrocities committed on both sides, and he himself commits atrocities out of anger and vengeance. But at one point, he witnesses an act so barbaric that he finds himself enter on a path to try and do some good in the middle of all this hate. Directed by Serbian filmmaker Predrag Antonijevic and produced by Oliver Stone, the film is unflinching and doesn't glorify one side over the other. What we see is a conflict fueled by hatred. A woman is raped by her captors, but when she's returned to her own side, they look down on her in disgust, especially when they find out that the rape has impregnated her. We see acts of cruelty committed by people regardless of their religion or creed. There are also some scenes in the movie where rational people have no explanation as to why this conflict got as far as it did. Savior doesn't try to encapsulate the whole war, and doesn't even go into the details as to why it's being fought. But by the end of the movie, one doesn't even bother to ask that question, because it isn't the point. The point is that these people justify doing terrible things to each other because the other side does even worse atrocities, and they feel proud for having done the very things that they condemn the other side for doing. Oliver Stone once said that he felt patriotism and nationalism were two of the most evil forces he knew of because of all the destruction that they've caused in history. If there is one film that tries to prove that theory right, it's Savior.